Hello and welcome back to the DVD Bunker. I'm Brian. It's Matt.
How's it going, Brian?
It's going pretty good. We're here. It's week 2 of our Halloween month.
Yeah.
We are moving into a lesser known. I think I've seen this one once.
Mm-hmm.
Usually on this show we look at movies that I haven't seen that I own that I haven't seen that often, or maybe only watched once a long time ago. And this did come out in 2007.
Oh wow!
So it has been a decade now. And this one falls squarely into that category. This is Teeth.
Yeah.
Teeth. So, real quick, we'll just lay out the premise here. A beautiful coming-of-age tale. A young girl flowering into womanhood.
Yeah.
Discovers that she has vicious vagina dentata
Which
lurking within her. And, we're going to get into it, so we won't need to go into the whole, but let's just say that makes her kind of sexual awakening very interesting.
Yeah,
very interesting.
That's a good word.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I also want to shout out friend of the Tough channel, Billy Polahan, mentioned way back, I can't even remember what episode it was, but in one of the comments for a horror episode we did, he mentioned this movie.
I think I remember
and
that.
I said I would be getting around to it someday, so here we are, Billy. We're going to do it. We're going to do it right now.
Just for you.
It was a little independent movie. I looked up some stuff about the cast and everything, not too much. The girl who is the lead, Jess Wexler, I think maybe it's Wexler.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, she did win like a grand jury prize for acting that year at Sundance for this.
For this? Wow.
And she stayed busy. She does a lot of like smaller movies and TV and stuff, but just nothing that like I'm really familiar with.
Okay.
And same thing with the director. The director, I didn't even write down his name. He's only directed about 4 things, also works as an actor. So, again, like, people active, but not in anything I'm familiar with, so I feel I'd be doing them a disservice. You could look up Wikipedia if you need to know more about them. I don't need to sit here and pretend that I know anything about these people.
Right
So, as far as the rest of the cast goes, much like when we did some of our other movies with lower caliber actors, we'll just, if somebody pops up that we recognize, they'll make it into character corner, you know?
Generally, your wife has the best eye for
That's
finding
true. She does.
so
Well,
she'll get
if
us...
they've ever been in an episode of X-Files, like she will
Golden
definitely, or Golden Girls, she will definitely nail them for that.
Yeah.
She'll be like, boom, and she'll like tell us what the plot of the episode was.
She's great at that.
And how badly did Scully get beat up in that episode.
Not badly enough.
Not too bad. She only fell down the steps that time.
Yeah, she's okay.
Like I said, I've seen this one time that I can remember, but it was a while ago. What about you?
Same. I remember watching. I remember not having no idea what I was watching. It was just like Netflix horror, teeth, girl on something. Let's check it out. And I was like, wow, blown away. I loved it though. Great, because I love that when you have no idea.
Oh yeah, when you go in completely blind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I had the same base level that I just gave the people at home when I first watched it. You know what I mean? I knew, because with a name like Teeth, you basically have to kind of, you got to look on the back to be like, what the hell is this even about?
Absolutely.
But I had no idea what I was getting into, and I think it'll be interesting to take a look at this from a perspective of. Because they throw a lot around here on the box. There's like a women empowerment, female empowerment movie, coming of age we mentioned. But then there's also this thing here, most alarming cautionary tale for men since Fatal Attraction. So we'll have to see how they balance the...
That's the most ridiculous tagline. Like, that movie was based in like a factual scenario.
Well, and I love too that like alarming cautionary tale, like, hey, be careful out there, guys, because you might get your dick bit off.
You never know.
You never know. You never know. So aside from that, anything else before we go get started?
No, let's watch some Teeth.
Teeth. All right, we're back. We watched Teeth.
How you feeling?
Good. Intact, I guess.
I feel vulnerable.
Vulnerable.
I scoffed at the Fatal Attraction tagline, but I'm feeling it.
Feeling a little. Well, you know what? I don't want to tip the lead here, but I think we're going to find that there is a really easy way to stay safe. There's a lesson this movie's trying to teach us. There's a really easy way.
It's true.
Dawn's mom marries a guy who has a son, and they grow up together. That's the family dynamic. Dawn's mom has undisclosed mom sickness. You know what I mean? They never really come right out and say it, but she takes pills. She's in bed. Dawn's worried about her. Dad seems like a nice guy. overall
he's a
through the
good guy.
movie. Seems like a good guy.
Maybe the only good guy in the
in the
entire
whole movie. Yeah, ooh, yeah. We'll have to think about that.
Yeah.
You might be right.
As we talk, maybe we'll come across one. But.
And then the stepbrother, who we first get introduced to them as little kids, and they're in a kiddie pool playing a little "Show me yours, I'll show you mine." Which I'll admit, I did that. Did that shit. Kindergarten bus.
Right on. Oh, okay. You were a grown man, though.
Well, those kids did not react well.
Didn't go the way you thought it would. That's actually why we're in the bunker. Is we're hiding out.
Hiding out. So the heat blows over there, man. But there's an implied that he tries to touch her as kids and gets his finger, like basically the tip of his finger bit off.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we see them grow up, and he's kind of got this weird obsession with her. He's got a steady girlfriend, but he totally treats her like shit. He's an asshole to the whole family.
Yeah, he's kind of a mix of his look is like and his personality is like a mix of Peoples from Shaft and Steve-O, I guess.
Yeah, a little bit. All right, I can see that.
Although Steve-O's nice, he's really kind of a shitbag.
Yeah, this guy's a total shitbag. There's no redeeming qualities in this guy at all. So that's their kind of family dynamic. Dawn is like we're really introduced to her as she's giving this abstinence speech for school. She's part of this whole purity movement thing, abstinence till marriage, kind of speaking to younger kids and kind of they don't get too much into the religious aspect of it, I noticed. We talked about that evolution scene where the teacher's talking about evolution, and one of Dawn's friends is kind of like rolling her eyes, and they never, and she's like, "Oh, I know some people," but they really never like purposefully delve into that they're really Christian-y.
Yeah, except for when she has her breakdown on stage, but I don't know if that's real. Those kids are chanting stuff, but I feel like that's in her mind more than really happening.
Yeah, but they never really like it's implied, but they're not overtly talking about religion here. It's just about abstinence.
Yeah, that's true.
So we talked about the men in the movie. We're kind of introduced to the first one, Toby. He's like a new kid in town. Her abstinence buddies introduce there's like she hangs out with a couple, an abstinence couple, and then they introduce this new kid, and they all start kind of hanging out together, the four of them. When we talked about like her being annoying, they're trying to go on a date to a movie, and she's like, "Oh, even the PG-13 one's gonna have heavy making out. Like, you can't watch heavy making out. Like, that's how."
I will say though, the whole time her and Toby are like at the tipping point. The looks and the like heavy breathing, just standing next to each other. Like,
that's true.
Wow.
I guess when you're as primed as these two are, because it's like everything they do together. I like that they all, after the movie, they all go out and just like hang out by the local swimming hole.
Why do they go there?
I like the way they all kind of look at the rope swing and like kind of nervous. It's like, if we got in the water, we'd all be like that's the problem here, this abstinence thing. And then we find out that she thinks it's like a total sin to masturbate too.
Yeah, all of it.
Like, because she almost touches herself thinking about getting married. I love that, like, her masturbatory fantasy is marrying Toby. You're a high school teenager, and your fantasy is to just get married.
Yeah.
And then, like, she feels so bad about that she basically tells Toby they can't be around each other. She's like, we can't even hang out in a group anymore. Yeah. It's too much. It's too much temptation.
Which the next scene, it's like the next
They
scene.
abandon it immediately. She abandons it immediately, invites him back out to the swimming hole. She brings her bathing suit, her conservative one-piece. He's swimming in his undies, you know?
Yeah.
They're out frolicking in the water and everything, and they're kind of like making out, and it's getting a little heavy, but she stops him, which I was just like, just don't fuck in a pond, first of all.
Yeah, right?
Like, get out of the water. You don't want pond water swimming up in you. That's fucking gross. That's real gross. But they like, obviously it was the absence thing, but they go to explore this cave where they already established that this is where like the local teens come to like mess around, is this cave by the swimming hole, I mean.
Yeah, and but like you said, the way they talk about it, it's like people are being murdered at this rope.
Right.
When they stare at that rope, it's like somebody died there yesterday.
It's all because people were just finger banging.
Yeah, they were just finger banging on this nice sleeping bag.
Well, that's the thing. I love she climbs up into this fucking. There's like sleeping bags laying there, and they already established that they know that this is what it's used for. She just instantly picks up a fuck blanket. It's like, ooh, I'm cold.
Like you know, that's the fuck. Like that's the signal for fucking in this cave is be like I'm cold.
Yeah. So they get into the little cubby hole and they start passionately making out. And it doesn't take very long for passionate making out to turn to attempted rape.
Yeah.
It's like almost immediately.
Yeah,
you know?
it's he goes. Yeah, he cannot say take no.
Right, and she's being very clear, but then during the kind of like struggle, she bumps her head and gets a little drowsy, and that gives him the in he needs to full on go for the rape.
Yeah.
And he gets his dick bitten off, and this is our first like big kind of horrific, violent moment, and our first hilarious chopped off dick. We get a lot of them, and I'm happy every time I see one in this movie.
I will say, I feel like they use the same dick prop for all the cut off dicks.
So?
I would have liked to see different shapes and sizes in the dicks.
Maybe an uncirculated. Well,
yeah, we get a little bit of some of that, but we don't get the full like. I want a big old one, and I want like a little skinny one.
Yeah, I think there's some jokes made about this a size and difference, but I think visually they all look about the same.
They're
you know
all
what
the
I mean?
same,
Like
yeah.
there should have been more. They should have made it more obvious.
Well, you know, you got a budget. You can't go out and spend all your money on
To
dicks.
be fair, they spent the money making it a quality looking dick.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
That's the conversation they had. Like, we could have 3 okay dicks or one really good dick.
Great one.
Okay, that's a good call. All right. See, sometimes you don't see these conversations when you watch the movie. You don't know how it goes on.
Behind the scenes of teeth. She goes to the OBGYN. We forgot to talk about this guy, the OBGYN, obviously horrible rapist. Gets his fingers chopped off. He's trying to, like, brutalize this first-time patient. Gets all 4 of his fingers chopped off, but he screams, "It's true!"
Yeah, he knew the
vagina dentata! And I love that, like, the speculation that, is this, like, a thing in OBGYN school? Like, they often rumored, like, in the back.
like the creepy kids, like, y'all ever heard of vagina dentata? They're like, shut up, Larry. No, it's real, bro.
It's like she does some research on the internet. She does some Googling to find out about it herself. But you can imagine before that was available, that's the only people who knew about it. Were these, like, OBGYN school guys, like, hey, you know, they'd talk about it one day a year. They'd be like, all right, you know, lay it out. An old wives' tale.
And I love the idol they show where the vagina is.
The vagina looks like a big jagged mouth of teeth. Yeah, that was cool.
I want the little DVD bunker across the middle. That's what I want.
That's
we can
awesome.
Get the store going. Check the DVD bunker store for those coming soon.
So the police find Toby's body.
Yeah.
He did not even make the swim from the cave. I imagine he probably just bled out from. I mean, you know, your dick's got some major arteries in it, right? There's some, you know, blood flow goes down there, so you probably like bleed out pretty quick from that.
And of all the people that are afflicted by her, he takes the worst. He's the most like in shock. Some people are just kind of like,
well, and pond water. I'm telling you.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's
nasty.
immediate.
It's nasty. So she's like now distraught. She goes home from finding out about the police finding the body. Her mom's down on the floor. Her mom had, obviously, we talked about, got movie parent disease. She'd been laying on the floor screaming for help while that piece of shit, Brad, the stepbrother, just banged away on his girlfriend. We find out that she was screaming for help, and he just told her to ignore her. She does that all the time.
Yeah.
Man, what a piece of human garbage, right? So they take her to the mom to the hospital. Dad stays with mom in the hospital. The prospect of going back home with only Brad at the house is too much for her.
Yeah.
So she goes to this nerd Ryan guy's house. She's distraught. She tells him everything. She admits about Toby. She tells she's gonna turn herself into the police. She tells him about the vagina dentata, the whole deal, whole 9 yards. You know, he kind of comforts her, calms her down. She takes a bath, which...
Yeah, that was weird. The bubble
Well, this whole situation gets weird, because, like, okay, when she's in the bath, he brings her in an anxiety. He's like, my mom takes this for anxiety. She gladly takes it.
Yeah.
She very happily takes it. She comes out. She's a little woozy. She's like, I got to turn myself in. We have to go to the police. He's like, well, you just took that pill. You probably want to be in your right mind when you talk to the police. Let's just calm down. But he's clearly set the tone for romance. There's candles lit everywhere, so it's like...
He hit her clothes. She can't find him.
Right. While simultaneously telling her that she's not in her right mind, he's also clearly trying to take advantage of this Cosby situation he's set up here, right?
Yeah, alcohol's involved.
Right, he gives her some champagne.
It's icky.
It is.
But
it's
he
icky.
also, he's
and
the
at
nicest
this point,
guy.
Right, at this point, he is being presented as the nice guy in
Yeah.
this. And it works because, like, they go full into, there's foreplay, which, I mean, hey, to be fair, he does it right. He treats her good here in this moment.
Yeah, after the champagne scene, I feel like they do get away from the date rapiness, and it's a little bit more consensual. Like,
Right, she clearly seems to be enjoying herself. She's not, and she warns him about the vagina dentata as, like, he's about to start, and he says, "Do you want me to stop?" And she doesn't want him to stop, but he brings back the stuff she told him about the research she did about a hero has to slay the monster. That was like the Greek myth that she looked up.
And I guarantee I'm
like,
harder than he is at this point. When she says that a hero, I'm like, yeah, baby.
And he brings that back. He's like, I'm the hero, you know.
I
and
love
she
that.
and this is the lesson we talked about earlier that is learned. Consent matters. You know, the guy, Toby the creep, tries to rape her, dick chop off. Horrible OBGYN tries to fist her, fingers chop off.
Yeah.
This guy, although, again, this is what makes it creepy because she's not in her right mind, he kind of drugged her. Plus, she's just fucked up mentally from all the shit she's been through as far as being raped, murdering Toby, her mom being in the hospital, like, all that is weighing on her too. So,
Yeah.
like, the movie is telling us that this is consensual and this is okay, but it's even not. Even the way they present it, it's still not.
It's still
not.
not.
Like, it still kind of sucks that way.
And I honestly believe that the motive behind this is so that they can kind of take away her nervousness, because they're like, okay, this really is her first time. We need her to be so relaxed that people will buy that the teeth don't come out. You know
That
what
they
I
wouldn't
mean?
just come out instinctually because she's
Yeah.
nervous.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I could see that. I guess that's the edge, like, they're trying to take off. But again,
Yeah.
it still muddies.
it's
It
creepy as
unfortunately
fuck.
muddies the waters of
Yeah.
the message I think they're trying to send
Yeah,
here.
Absolutely.
In the morning after their consensual lovemaking, she wants to leave and go tell go tell the police. She's still being the good girl. She still wants to do the right thing and turn herself in. He entices her back into bed though, but as they're doing it, he too is revealed to be an asshole. Gets a call from his friend, is bragging how they had a bet. He knew he could bet her. Which, first of all, like, I'll believe vagina dentata, but I don't believe any dude is stupid enough when he's banging the
that
dream
was
girl,
dumb.
like, to then brag about how I don't think any guy is
Yeah,
that stupid. I could see him telling her later, but not while they're mid coitus. No way.
No way. Why would you ever tell? Why would you take that phone call? Like, yeah, the next day. It's the next day, and she's into him. They're like,
it's
they're
like,
having a good time.
Yeah, they just barely started. And she clips him off right there. So now now we do see later he gets to go. We see him going on the knife to get his penis reattached.
Yeah.
So he doesn't die from his wounds. Same as the doctor. We also see the doctor getting his fingers reattached. That's where they make the joke about this
Is it
kid
even
is
worth
the
the
one.
trouble?
Is it even worth it?
The
worth
there's
putting
good
back
comedy
on?
beats in this.
There are some
too.
good. Well, I think the whole thing lends itself to that.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's a humorous premise, and they undercut it with all the sexual assault. So
Yeah.
they balance the scale. They balance the scale. The mom dies, and the dad tries to kick his own son out. There's a power struggle. He loses because son's got this big dog. The stepbrother Brad's got this big ass mean dog, well trained, that he sicks on the dad and kind of. So Dawn decides, because of what we find out about how Brad had ignored the mom's cries, and had he maybe helped her, she would have been okay. She wouldn't have died from this particular whatever this was that got her this time. She's going to use her powers for good. She's going to get revenge. She's going to use the vagina dentata to get revenge on Brad.
Yeah, she gets that good look in her eyes too, and you see
Right,
that look. You're
right.
like, oh, you're fucked, Brad. Now here, let me ask you this question. Brad, I believe, is a virgin saving himself for her.
I had the same thought. So they established with the girlfriend that Brad's into the ass play.
Yeah.
I was like, is that to say that he has been saving vaginal sex for her? Because he's definitely been obsessed with her. That comes up. He tells the dad when they're fighting that you know, he says, why did you have to marry her and marry that woman and make this girl my sister? I was in love with her, which is weird because they were like little, like probably 5 and 4 or something when they got married. But anyway, he says he's been in love with her ever since. So I thought that too, and I wondered, I was like, also, is that going to be a roadblock for her plan? Him being into ass stuff, is he gonna try to go for that, and she's not gonna be able to use her vagina dentata, and this is another situation where she's gonna end up getting assaulted. But they didn't really play into that. But I did have the same thought as you.
Okay,
is he, just as she's been abstinent, because he makes a comment about, we all know who you've been saving yourself for.
Yeah, and he says, like, can I wait around forever? Or
right.
Like that.
So has he been, okay, I was wondering if that was, so we both get, so
there.
I think if we both got there, it's probably the intent of the movie, that he was probably saving himself for her.
He's a complex guy. Like, he's definitely a bad guy, but I like the complexity of his character. Is he obviously hates this lady. Yeah. That's why he's not just a dick. He hates the mom because she's the roadblock to him being with the girl he loves. Yeah. And so is his dad, too. So I like that.
Well, and I think he's definitely a huge piece of shit, but they give him I don't know if it's the performance or, like, they just write in enough. They give him an emotional core that you can, like, understand what made him so fucking awful. Yeah. And that's what makes a great villain, really.
Absolutely.
Is being able to understand their motives. So, and he's definitely hateable, so he works in that way, too. Yeah. But it works. While they're having sex, she clips off his dick and, bonus, feeds it to his dog and drops out, and the dog comes over and eats the dick. So good.
That's a great shot where she drops it, stands up,
and it drops out. Yeah, that's a good.
That's like
good moment.
Cutting somebody's head off, and then they just sits there for a second, and it falls. It was like that, but with a dick.
The head, I got you.
Yeah,
I see what you did there. So we get our Incredible Hulk ending. You pointed out, she gets her backpack. She's on the road. I don't know, like, we talked about the dad is the only good man in the whole movie. He's the only one who turns out to not be a piece of shit in the whole film. Do you think she really would have left him? She got her revenge on Brad. I guess maybe she wanted to get out of there. You never know. Brad's crazy. He might... who knows what he might do. Yeah,
we never really have her come to a conscious realization that she's not in trouble for all these things. Like, she's always like, I'm in trouble.
That's true. I guess she's going on the run maybe because she feels like she doesn't want to go to prison.
Yeah. So,
she's over that whole turning herself in thing, I guess.
And she's cursed forever that every man she meets is going to be a fucking creep. Yeah, because we end with her getting a ride from an old guy, and just as, he's creeping on her and he won't let her out of his car. And I kind of don't like the implication here where, like, any guy, because, like, she kind of gets that look at her like, oh, right, you asked for it kind of thing. And it's like, so you're really going to fuck every single nasty motherfucker who tries to assault you? Like, I get it that you're going to fucking cut their dicks off, and that's nasty, and of course that's a great revenge, but you're also going to have to fuck them, even for a second. You're going to have to let them put their hands on you and shit. That's pretty nasty, true.
Man.
And that's a fucking slippery slope, man. I mean, where's the line? Like, yeah, that guy locked you in a car, and he was a creep, but he wasn't, like, going after. But, like, what is it going to be? Some guy at a bar that maybe says some shitty to you? Next thing you know, he was like, I was just saying some shit to a girl, and I'm in the bathroom getting my dick cut off. It's like, there's a line, man. I don't know where it is.
But much like the Incredible Hulk, she's learning to control her powers, and she's, she's going to, I guess, take the path of vigilante justice. Seems like. So, rapists and
watch out,
sexual assaulters, and actually just general creeps and assholes. Everybody better watch your dicks.
Watch your dicks. That's what the tagline should be. Forget
your dicks.
Forget the Fatal Attraction bullshit. Watch your dicks.
I need Samuel L. Jackson to say that. Like, he's already nailed "Hold On to Your Butts." Now I need to see watch your dicks.
He's the detective in the second Teeth movie that's like tracking her killing spree. That now that she's turned evil, watch your dicks, boys.
Well, and I like the idea too that, like, every guy that she does this to would be too embarrassed to tell how it happened. So, like, he's following this trail of cut off dicks, but nobody will talk to him. Nobody will tell him. He's not getting any information.
Just the push pin board of dicks with, like, different pictures of cut off dicks. I love that, man.
Why you motherfucking stonewalling me?
Oh, That's it, man. That movie writes itself.
I can't believe we haven't seen it already.
I will say that movie left me
Come on, it's the Shaft teeth crossover we all wanted. And it's Shaft. So did you have anybody for character corner?
I didn't see one person I knew. Even when Sarah slowly explained to me what that one guy was in, and I'd seen those episodes, still didn't remember.
I was going to say, Sarah did come through. Yeah. She pointed out John Hensley, the guy who plays Brad, the asshole piece of shit stepbrother. He was in a couple single episodes of some shows that I absolutely love. He's in an episode of the first season of Strangers with Candy, and he's also in an episode of, it might be the first season. No, it's the second season of Sopranos. He plays a great character actor, Robert Patrick's son, in maybe one or two episodes, actually, of that. So, shout out to John Hensley. You're the only person I remember that I even recognized from this whole movie. But good performances.
Jess Weixley.
You can see why she got her little Sundance. Because a lot of this movie hinges on quiet shots of her face.
Yeah.
And her needing to emote and look pensive and look introspective. And I think she does a bang-up job. So, while we're doing goodbye versus goodbye, I want to talk about some of the different things this movie kind of sets out to be. How do you feel it lands as a women empowerment movie?
I don't think that's what this is supposed to be. I think this movie's not. I mean, I don't want to say it's not for women. I don't think it's for somebody looking to watch that movie. It's more of a cautionary tale.
Yeah.
And she does become empowered,
but not a cautionary tale for men, like they talk about on the front, but for women.
Every man
and every man who wants to rape you, and even the nice ones have evil ulterior motives.
Yeah, I say it's more of like a coming of age, but it's hard for me because the stuff that happens to this girl in this movie, like over a period of 3 or 4 days, I have no frame of reference for that kind of shitstorm.
No. It's very brutal, and
and I like the idea that she comes out of the other side she is, I don't want to call her a killer, but it seems like she's almost making that choice to just make this her life.
Right.
Hit the road. When shit happens, dude's going to get their dicks cut off. You know what I mean?
If somebody tries to wrong me, they're losing their dick.
Yeah, I guess in that way it is empowering because she says, I'm willing to fuck an old man just to cut his dick off for being a fucking dirty guy. So nobody else, he can never fuck anybody again.
Right. And it's her choice. She is, if that's how she chooses to use her power.
Yeah. Exactly, and
can't take that away from her.
And speaking of taking away, she's taking away that power from them.
That's
true.
You know
what I mean?
That's true.
Because Brad's never going to hurt anybody again. Toby never going to hurt anybody again. That guy was a fucking creep at his old school. I guarantee they chased him out. Of
Ryan does get his dick attached,
he gets his dick back. That's true. You get your dick
but
back.
You gotta imagine you learn your lesson off. You would hope, right? You would hope. Yeah. It's never gonna work quite the same.
It's not gonna be right.
It's not gonna work quite the same. I never watched that John Bobbitt porn, but I heard it was pretty.
It was weird. Yeah, I didn't get there yet. I'm still on the A's. I haven't got to the B's yet. I'm working my way down.
One thing I will say, I'll take away from this. I do think this movie could have used one decent male character.
Yeah.
I think you had it in the dad, and maybe there's scenes that got cut. We could have seen him being a good dad to her, or really taking care of the mom, or his struggle. Obviously, I think the idea that you're supposed to get is he's not around a lot because he has to work to kind of support everybody. You know what I mean? He's real, and I get that. But I think that's one thing I think this movie suffers from. Every man in this movie is awful.
Yeah, and you're right. He's nice, but he's just not really there.
Right, he's barely a character.
Even when the mom's
he's barely
dead.
a character. And then we see him, the one time we see him try to act like a man and throw Brad out, he gets totally, he gets totally beat down and trashed and shamed and and she has to. And I guess it's that's the impetus she needs, seeing her dad. That's when she decides to take revenge on Brad, and she knows what she can do.
That's true.
I guess his weakness in that moment serves a purpose, but you could have still had that and just given me a little bit more backstory with how good of a guy he was, or just to fill out the male quotient of this movie. You know what I mean? I get it. Honestly, that's the white male privilege of being oh, gee, now I know how it feels. That's every movie where a woman, or women are either a bitch or a slut. You know what I mean? There's two parts in the movie, and they both. So I get it. That's fine. But I'm just saying, the dad seemed like a good guy. Maybe give him a couple more minutes to show us.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Goodbye or
I
goodbye?
think if you kind of stay away, I think it's easy to go down that female empowerment, but if you go into this, like, this for me is a horror movie that's not like a lot of other horror movies. There's awesome It's a horror movie, it's a superhero origin movie. Yeah,
too,
really.
right?
That's the other thing. Or super villain origin movie,
That's true,
depending on what
that's
road
right.
she decides to take. But, I love the gore in this movie. I love the way they use it for comedy. I just love this idea. I don't know why we don't get a shot. We get so many dick shots. Why don't we get the teeth? Do you think there's a reason?
Yeah, they never show the monster vagina. And I do agree that's a missed beat. Do you think maybe they just thought it would be too cheesy, like too corny?
Yeah.
They show a tooth, like when they pull Toby's, their corners going over
Yep.
Toby's body. They have a tooth, and they talk about it's like shark-like or lamprey-like, some kind of, they talk about all the difference. But they show it one of the teeth. But yeah, I do.
You think that would have gotten an NC-17 to show? I would have liked to
Is
see
that
spit the
too
wiener
over
out.
the top comedy? Would it have been too much of a laugh?
Maybe.
They wanted to keep it.
I guess it depends on how they did the pubes. Like maybe if she shaved them into a little tree or something, then yeah.
Well, I
maybe
think
a little too.
she'd have to shave them like the craggy, like the thing on the little statue. You know how the little statue had the that's how she has to do the lightning bolt.
Just a little. That's awesome.
Little teeth leading down to the teeth.
If she is a superhero or supervillain, it's definitely going to be that, though. 100%.
I like to think of her more like she's right in the middle. She's like the Punisher. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She deals with evil men and she deals with them in her own evil way.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So
But she's really limited. We got to give her something. You got to give her like maybe super strength or
yeah,
something.
that's the thing. It's like she really has to put herself in a vulnerable position to use her ability.
Yeah.
Like, it's not.
You could still definitely get murdered by one of these assholes.
Absolutely,
you know what I mean?
absolutely. You're gonna have to follow that up with a shotgun blast to the face.
Yeah,
or something.
yeah. Because somebody's gonna get their dick. Like her brother was pretty aware of like what was. Because he even talks to
true.
the dog before the dog eats
Oh,
it.
I was gonna say like that's his arc in the sequel. She's the Punisher style. He becomes the antithesis, the villain, the dickless. He's the revenge crazed, always after her, trying to kill her. Always trying to gather up an army of these eunuchs that she's left behind,
Yeah.
and like using them as like a network to like kind of hunt her down.
That's true. And surprise, Samuel L. Jackson. Those aren't the dicks she's cutting off. They're the dicks he's cutting off.
Oh man,
as
he's
part
now
of his craze.
He's now also cutting off
Yeah,
dicks
and that's why it's putting
because
heat
he's
on
obsessed
her.
with her power
yeah,
now.
exactly. And he's trying to take it, and he's trying to find that dick that closely matches his because the dog ate his, so he can reattach it. It's also made of metal.
Well, the metal one is his
Yeah.
the one he's got now,
Yeah.
while he waits to find the perfect dick that he's
yeah,
looking to
that's
replace his.
Oh, this is great.
Yeah, man.
This is so good.
Hey, if the producers of Teeth want to give us a holler for the right price, we'll write up a treatment, right?
Yeah, right. Give us $25. We'll knock it out tonight.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna agree with you. I think this is a good buy. I think this is a good little horror movie. I think it's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
No movie is 100% perfect, but I think this one's heart is definitely in the right place. The message of consent good, assault bad
Yeah.
rings true
Yeah.
here, and I think that's what stands out over all the little nitpicks. So yeah,
Yeah,
I agree. I
absolutely.
think this is a good buy.
And it leaves me wanting. We want to see what she does next. You know what I mean? And that's a success.
So, Billy, let us know how you thought the episode was down in the comments. I guess anybody else, too, can
fuck
comment.
it. This
No,
is for
only
Billy
Billy.
and Billy only.
Billy only. Sorry, buddy. Fuck you, Randall. You don't get to
fuck
come
you,
into this
Randall,
one.
Of course.
No, but comment, like the video, subscribe to the Tough channel. We hope you're enjoying your Halloween leading up, or October leading up to Halloween. We got a couple more good episodes we're excited for. Thanks, as always, to the people who help us out with the show. Austin helps us out with banners. Janine helps us out with our original logo. Ron's music. Check out all the other content. OSP and BFF are doing live streams all the time. Fan Friction's back in a big way. They're getting some really cool guests this year.
Yeah.
I've been far surpassed now. I describe myself as like the Ric Flair. I come out to, I do the job now for like up and comers and really who people
I
who may
love
need to
Ric
make a
Flair,
name for
though,
themselves.
yeah.
Well, yeah, it's a good spot to be in.
Only one time Take broke kayfabe, right? And that was for Ric Flair, buddy. So there you go.
So thanks for watching. Right? Anything else?
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye.